If you don't have the time to wait ages for your oven to preheat and then another 30 to 40 minutes to cook your food, but still want to reach your fitness goals, I got you. Or maybe you don't have access to an oven, but you want to ditch the unhealthy microwave meals and opt for foods that actually taste good. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Amanda, aka Fit Food AE, and today we're going to be making 5 high protein, low calorie air fryer recipes. These recipes are perfect for those of you who want to eat in a calorie deficit or just want some nutritious and delicious meals that don't take forever to cook. So with that, let's get started. So we're gonna start off strong with the recipe I'm super excited to show you guys. It's my tofu nuggets recipe. I actually made this and posted it a while ago, like a couple years ago, but I feel like it needs a bit of a revamp. So the first thing I do is I press the tofu. I use extra firm tofu, by the way. I just use a paper towel and some elbow grease. I don't use anything fancy. We're keeping things simple around here. So yeah, just paper towel for me. And then you're actually gonna break it up into chunks. Again, literally just using your hands. I decided to break it into like different size pieces. So some kind of smaller, some bigger. You kind of do whatever you want. If you want just like bigger tofu nuggets, then go crazy with that. With this recipe, I'm kind of trying to mimic popcorn chicken, but like make it popcorn tofu, if you know what I mean. But this recipe would be great to bring to like a potluck to impress your friends or just any sort of dinner party. It'll really impress your friends, I promise. Everyone absolutely loves this recipe. So once you're done breaking up the tofu into pieces, we're gonna prep our stations, our dunking stations, if you will. So I actually use protein milk, so you could use like Fairlife, Nelson Dairyland, whatever. And then you're gonna put a little bit of lemon juice in there or white vinegar. But I decided to go with lemon juice because I hate the smell of vinegar. Then you're gonna add some all-purpose flour. I'm actually gonna mix it with nutritional yeast and some spices. So nutritional yeast, salt, garlic powder, and paprika. I absolutely love paprika, but you can really use whatever spices you want. But yeah, I also love nutritional yeast. It gives it like a slight little cheesy kick. And then that third bowl, that third dunking station, you're gonna add panko breadcrumbs. That is the most fun ingredient. So this is kind of what my setup looks like here, my dunking stations. And then, yeah, honestly, guys, this part kind of takes, like, it doesn't take that long, but it is a little bit annoying. You basically have to dunk it into the milk mixture first, then the flour, then dunk it back into the milk mixture, and then dunk it into the breadcrumbs. And you could do this one by one, or what I realized is that you could do it 2 tofu nuggets at a time. If you don't feel like getting your hands dirty, you could also use a fork, but I just did it with my hands because I just wanted to make it even. I guess another thing you could do is if you're really, really short on time, you could soak all the tofu nuggets in the milk and then just like dunk everything in the flour and then soak in the milk, dunk everything in the panko breadcrumbs, or just like pour it on top and kind of shake it. But again, it's not going to be as even. You could make these in a big batch and then just freeze them and then put them in the air fryer. This is a great meal prep recipe. Also, what I would do, especially if you're on a calorie deficit, because if you're not on a calorie deficit, you can just keep adding ingredients. But if you are, make sure to be kind of mindful when pouring it into the different layers, because we don't want to use up too many of the breadcrumbs, because then we're going to have to add more, or some of them won't have the breadcrumb layer. So yeah, just be mindful, be a bit stingy, if you will. So here they are before I put them into the air fryer. They already look good, but don't eat them yet. And then I have this like dual basket air fryer, so I just separated them between the two. But if you just have one basket, you could just kind of layer them all in there. They'll cook as long as you kind of shake them partway through. So I put them in for 15 minutes. I feel like this is the perfect amount of time, but obviously every air fryer is different. Make sure to shake, like check every 5 minutes or so and just kind of shake halfway through. I prefer them more on the well done side. Oh my god, these look amazing. I knew this recipe was going to turn out well. So yeah, I like to pair it with ketchup, but you can kind of pair it with whatever you want, like sriracha, mustard, I guess mayo if you're disgusting. I don't have a child, but if I had a child, I would like send these with them to school, and all the other kids just think they're so cool. But they'd probably be like, why doesn't her mom give her actual chicken nuggets? Is she a hippie? These are pretty customizable. You can even use P Sciences or whatever other brand's unflavored protein powder, like the protein flour, instead of regular flour. So good. That crunch is just the best. So good. And this is me trying to like toss it. I don't know what the hell I was doing here. I was trying to toss it in my mouth, but it didn't work, obviously. So we're just going to take another bite and leave it at that. Next up is a vegetarian chicken parm sandwich. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm vegetarian. If you eat meat, feel free to just use chicken for this recipe. But yeah, so this recipe is made entirely in an air fryer. You don't need a blender or literally anything else. I use these like Kaiser buns, and I don't have a toaster, guys. I use my air fryer as a toaster. So we toasted the bun first. Obviously, if you have a toaster, just do that separately. I like them more on the well done side. And then after that, you're gonna put the chicken burger in, or the vegan chicken burger, if you will, and then make sure to flip it halfway through. So I put it in the air fryer for 8 minutes, and then at the 2-minute mark, I actually took it out to add the toppings. So I put some marinara sauce, slice of light mozzarella cheese, and a little bit of Parmesan. And then we're gonna put it in for 2 more minutes just to make it melt and be extra nice. And then look at that. Super easy and simple recipe, about 460 calories and 33 grams of protein. So these really keep you full, really pack a punch. Marinara sauce is so low calorie, but it's so flavorful. I absolutely love it. And this bun, because it's kind of like fluffy, even though it looks big, it was one of the lower calorie options as well, which is great. If you wanted to lower the macros even more, you could use one of those like thin buns, but that just makes it not as fun. So yeah, I found like the perfect spot to take a bite out of just to get everything in there. Next up, we've got my Mexican burritos. We're making the sauce first. So it's light cottage cheese, nutritional yeast, and taco seasoning. I don't know why I just decided to make the sauce first, but just look at that. Depending on your blender, you might have to add like a tablespoon of water. I used my crappy blender for that one because my other blender was dirty. By the way, guys, if you don't have a rice cooker, that's totally fine. It just makes your life a lot easier. Came from my boyfriend's apartment before we moved in together. And then you're going to use the stovetop to make the onions to make sure they're nice and diced. I use red onions. And then we're going to pour in the Beyond Ground. Guys, I don't defrost it. I just microwave it for like 2 or 2.5 minutes before I put it into the pan because I don't ever remember to defrost anything. But yeah, you're just going to make sure to break it up and then just blend it with the onions there. And it's interesting because with Beyond Ground, technically like it's not unsafe if you eat it when it's undercooked. Obviously, it doesn't taste as good, but you'll know it's cooked when it's browned. When it's still pink, that means it's not. So for the spices, again, I'm adding salt, garlic powder, and paprika. Those are my spices of choice. I was gonna say sauces. But yeah, those are what makes it taste good, but feel free to add whatever you'd like. So you see here, it's nice and brown. And then we're going to assemble the burrito. So you have to warm up the tortilla for 30 seconds, guys. It's the most important step. Then we're going to do rice, the Beyond Ground, and then some black beans, diced tomatoes, chives, and then you're going to pour the queso sauce. So it's come to my attention that some of you don't know how to roll a burrito properly. So you're going to pinch the edges like that and fold it in half. And then you're going to fold in the edges just like this. And then after that, you're going to tuck in that part of the burrito as shown, and then roll it. Make sure it's super tight and tucked in, and then you're good to go. Look at how pretty that is. Same thing here, and again, it's super important to make sure that the burrito is warmed up for 30 seconds in the microwave. Otherwise, it's going to split open, and we don't want that. So yeah, honestly, it took me a while to master how to roll a burrito properly. I wasn't rolling them properly before, and I have posted recipes with them not rolled properly, and that's super embarrassing, okay? So now all 4 of them are rolled up, and we're going to move on to the air fryer. So I air fried mine for 8 minutes at 400 Fahrenheit. You could flip halfway through. I personally just didn't because, I don't know, I was too lazy. But yeah, they're super brown on the top. Again, you could flip them and then they'd be maybe a bit more even, but honestly, they turned out perfectly fine just like this. And depending on what you want, like if you don't like them that brown, then maybe just check and put them in for less time. And then of course, we're going to cut the burrito in half because I would be a psycho if I didn't. Use a sharp knife, checking how crispy it is. Also, they'll be pretty hot, so be careful. Look at that middle. Oh my God, so delicious. I love the layers in this burrito. By the way, guys, these work really well for meal prep. So if you want to make 4 of them, what I would do is, let's say you're only ready to eat one of them, just put that one in the air fryer and then put the rest of them in a plastic bag and put them in the freezer. And when you're warming them up, put them in the microwave for like 5 minutes, and then so good. Gotta take a big bite and make sure you're getting everything in that bite. Next up, we've got queso fries. This recipe is super simple. First thing you're gonna do is make the cheese sauce. So this one's a little bit different. We're using our light cottage cheese and then a bit of light shredded cheese. I use Tex Mex, a little bit of Fairlife milk or whatever protein milk you have, salt, and then mixed garlic. You're gonna put in the blender. Again, I have 2 blenders. My good one was in the wash, so I just used my crappy one, but it worked pretty well. If it accidentally comes out too watery, then just put in a little bit of like flour or nutritional yeast. And if it comes out too thick, then just put a little bit of water. So for this recipe, we're just going the easy route and we're gonna use frozen fries. Again, just be mindful of the portion, use whatever I wrote there. And then you can actually put the Beyond Meat in the air fryer if you want, and then just put both of them on at the same time if you have like a dual basket one, or if you want to do them one by one, or you could just put the Beyond Meat on the stove top. Once the fries are done, I just put a little bit of cooking spray and then add my spices, so like some salt, paprika, maybe some garlic powder, and then just make sure to like kind of mix it up. In terms of the brand I use for the fries, I use Cavendish, but honestly, whatever you have, like McCain, Cavendish, whatever. And then yeah, you're gonna add the Beyond Ground and then the cheese sauce. You could also do the opposite if you want. Make sure to kind of spread it out evenly like that. Looks so good and thick. Then I'm gonna add some green onions because #healthy. This looks so like decadent and sinister, like it looks unhealthy, but it's really so good. It's all about portion sizes, guys, and using that cottage cheese sauce in order to make it higher protein and more filling. And I absolutely love this recipe. It's so quick and it's such a good like healthy lunch staple. Okay, we got one more recipe and these are healthy pizza pops. So in terms of the actual macros, I know people are gonna say like they're not that much lower in calorie than like the Pillsbury ones. Obviously they're made with better ingredients and they're higher in protein, okay? So you're gonna roll out the dough as thinly as you can using like a little rubber mat and a rolling pin. Make sure to flour the surface because that makes things a lot easier. And then you're gonna add the ingredients in this order, okay? The cheese, then the marinara sauce, and then vegan pepperoni or whatever other filling you wanna add. Don't put the sauce first, otherwise it's gonna make them soggy. And you're just gonna pinch the sides like that and put them in the middle, almost like a little dumpling, but not. And then kind of just flatten it out so it ends up being a square. Mine ended up turning into like a little squarish thing, which is fine. That's how it is. And then I'm just gonna repeat that. Basically just repeat it 4 times and then you're good to go. Be careful pinching the edges here because you could end up breaking the dough. Just make sure it's not broken on the top there. Otherwise, everything's gonna ooze out when you put it in the air fryer. So now we're gonna put them in the air fryer. I just put all 4 in. And then I ended up putting them for 15 minutes at 400. But I checked at like the maybe 13-minute mark and they were done. So just keep checking. I like them golden brown like that. That looked so, so good. Gotta make sure they're cooked all the way through because if not, they could be a bit doughy. I feel like it's better to cook them more than for less time. These are super versatile. You can make different flavors. I probably want to make kind of like a cheeseburger one. And then, yeah, this one's just like a simple one, obviously with the cheese oozing out of it and the vegan pepperoni. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm sure you're looking for more easy meal recipes. So I'm gonna link a couple videos on the screen here that you should watch next. And please be sure to give this a like, subscribe, and share with your friends as it really helps the channel and I post new videos every week. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.